Hello there, fellow modders. In this third video, we will be trying to create a summon spell that uses a corpse to summon our unit. And we will be also trying to look at how to edit some text so that the values from the editor, values that we can input in the editor, or values that the editor can take from the data we have already placed for the spell, so that it can take that text and put it into the text that is displayed in the game. We'll be looking at those two things, and I think it won't take as long as the other videos. So it will be nice. Okay, first of all, I have already opened the resource editor. And if you remember from the last video, we tried to look when we were designing these spells, or at least the front end of these skills. We were trying to look for spells that were similar, so that we at least had this stack, and we didn't have to input and search for it. Technically, we didn't need to do this. We could have uh, taken all of these and copy pasted and then change the values. But this way, at least we have scouted a little bit, and we have a little bit of an idea of where to look things for, how to look for different tomes, because it's important in general to not be afraid of looking inside the in-game files and look around and mess things up. So as I was saying, we had already identified the Tome of Fertility as a good candidate for our summon spell, because we know that already targets something that's in place. In this case, it's like an obstacle. This skill 5, animate flora, under tactical spells. And indeed, it does target an obstacle. It has a targeter, an obstacle targeter. We'll be talking about this in a little sec. So yeah, this animate flora can be really useful as a template, because it already targets an obstacle and then creates makes use of the summon effect and creates a unit for us. Yeah, let's use this as an example, because it will be easier. Then we'll talk about why I have the Tome of Necromancer open as well. But let's look at this first, because that's what you're going to be doing whenever you're going to mod. You are going to look at how in-game does it. Most of the time just copy pasting and changing some values, but it's good to again not be afraid and try to understand what's happening. So first of all, most spells, actually all spells, are special operations. There are different types of special operations. This one is a combat one, meaning that it's actually a tactical spell. You have to cast it on during combat. If we go to strategic spells, probably, yeah, it's different. This, for example, is an instant one, and this one, it's also an instant one. These instant ones are the strategic ones. There are different strategic ones. There are sustained operations as well. There's also enchantments. Maybe Necromancer has one. Yeah, enchantments. Here we have Operation Sustain. It's a different type of operation, and maybe, I don't know, maybe a different strategic. No, okay, this is also instant. But yeah, as you can see, there are different types of special operations, and these operations are what basically define the cost of the spell. They are what I like to call the definition, the description, and in our case, in this animate flora, as we can see, by the way, if you right click on any in-game RPK file, or you can say create mod so that we can actually look and move this sidebar. And what do we have here? We have a visualization tab or section. Here is where we select the animation that will be displayed, the special effects of this spell. These special effects will happen in the actual targets that we select with another thing that we'll be looking at in a sec. Then we have the interface. This is where we choose the text that we will be using for the spell. We will be looking at how to take values from the different from these different fields in the left side, so that this text has the values from here. Yeah, you will see how in a moment. So yeah, here we put basically the reference of the text that we have in our MO file, and we also determine which icon we'll be using. Most spells usually reference the icon that it's on the skill page. So you set or at least that's how they are organizing things up. They set the spells in their own categories. In this case, the tactical spells. You have all the tactical spells in this page, but they use the icon that was prepared in the skill list. So the front end, the one that appears on the tome description. They use that because it's already the correct one. So why use another? Yeah, they get used. It's just to make things simpler. They simply grab that, and we'll be doing the same. And then there's some casting instructions that could be useful for us as well. Yeah, then there's the logic, and the logic is obviously probably the most important thing. Whereas this part is basically the what, and especially this type defends the what. What is this? This is a special operation combat. This is a tactical spell. This part is the how. How are we going to do that? And the targeters are the most important thing. It's what lets you select what you're going to target, what you're going to affect. And you can set different things here. You can say that, for example, all the targeters that are here, if one targets one thing, then the other targeter can't pick the same. There are different things you can set here. You can suppress some damage. You can even make so that target units enter defense mode. Some really strange or cool things here. You can set the delay. This is not delay in turns, but delay in seconds for the animations and stuff. Can even define some knockback. This is important. This is the required player properties. This basically is telling what is opening up or making available this spell. So whatever we define here, whatever property we select here, is the property that will be needed for this spell to actually be available to us. In this case, look, as we can see, it's grabbing the skill 5 player property, meaning it's taking this. So, and at the same time, if we remember, here in the skill 5, there should be here somewhere. Now here, yeah, in the group link, we are grabbing the Tome of Fertility. So it's like a chain. The tactical spell and animate flora is saying, hey, I will only be available if you have this player property, and this player property is grabbed by this sub skill. which is this one. This player property is grabbed by the subskill, and the subskill is set in the skill itself, and the skill itself has this reference of the Tome of Fertility. So all those. So in the end, the tome will have will unlock this skill, and this skill or this front end skill, the visuals itself will unlock the actual spell effects. Yeah, that's basically what it is. And then we have some requisites. This is again, this is not too important. They are for identifying purposes. Some, I believe, like the hard root and all those stuff, all that stuff that makes certain types of spells cheaper, and or depending on their affinity or so, they use this as an identifier to say, oh, so you are a tactical spell, therefore you're going to get cheaper or more expensive, and so on. Yeah, you can also set if you want to stack some things. That's okay. I mostly say leave most of this as it is. There's also some cooldowns for the AI so that it doesn't spam the spell. And then we have the cost. This is important. So you should try to match the tactical, well, the cost of the spell. There are costs for many things. By the way, this is like kind of bugged because it doesn't have enough space to fully display, so it kind of bugs a little bit here. But anyway, the thing is that you should try to match the tier or the cost, because each tier has a cost. This is all set in spell definitions. Triumphs set all those and said, oh, then we have this tier and this cost. Then sometimes there are some tiers that have cheap or expensive. But in the end, we are using these costs, and it's important to do so because then if there are some other mods that want to use these costs as a baseline, and if we are using some random cost here for what is in effect a clearly tier 2 spell, then it will be very hard to balance for those mods. So we should all try to stick to the official costs. So in this case, they have decided it costs as a tier 2 because the skill itself, if we go here, yeah, it's tier 2. So yeah, you can set the cost here, and then we have some modifiers. These are used, for example, when we use countables, and we modify the damage that we're going to do by how many of certain things is in the map, and then they are usually placed here, and then damage effects have a setting that you can set to true so that modifiers apply to them. But this is mostly an advanced stuff that I don't think we're going to see today. What we have next, as we said, this operation and all operations or most operations have some targeters, and you can have multiple targeters. And how do they work together? In this case, oh, wait a minute. All right, as I was saying, in this case, we are using two obstacle targeters, or Animate Flores using two obstacle targeters, a single one. This is the one that will look for. This is an obstacle targeter single, so it will only look for obstacles on the map, and they are also applying an effect. So it will look for obstacles, and it will look for specific obstacles because they are using tag filters. and they are requiring or asking for a specific obstacle property, which is flora property. There's different types of obstacle properties, and we could, if we wanted, use this as a template, and instead of flora we could say, oh, instead of looking for flora, look for corpses. So this could be a route we could use for our spell, and I believe it's a very legit one, a valid one. And then what else is doing? It's also using an obstacle effect damage. It's this one. So it's saying look for obstacle flora and then apply some damage to it. They are applying 99 damage. They are destroying the flora. And what else they are doing? They are using an obstacle targeter single, which is this other obstacle. So here we have obstacle number 1 that applies some damage, and position targeter 1. So targeter 1 and targeter 2. One is an obstacle, the other one position. And position simply affects the same target, the same hex. It's via another targeter, but the same hex. And instead of doing damage, this one summons, because that's what we want to do. And the summon is a magical effect. It's also magical effect. Oh yeah, I haven't said anything about this, but targeters use what we call magic. Magic is most of the effects of the map. You're going to see magic a lot. So magic tactical obstacle. This one was magic damage, obstacle effect damage, and summons are also magic. And most magic is split into tactical, into strategic. There are different types of magic. Let me show you in a sec. Magic, and as you can see, there are some tactical here. Magic, and then this is a little bit okay. Sometimes when you grab it by the side, it doesn't work. But anyway, as you can see, there are structure effects, there's tactical effects, and then there are strategic effects somewhere. If I say strategic, there we go. There are lots of strategic. So magic is what we're going to use in general to do stuff. In this game, stuff that does other things. And as we were saying, the single targeter is using another magic, another element data that that has only one job, which is to summon. Whenever we summon, we will be using this specific type of element, and it has obviously different data we can fill in. They are quite simple in general. They have some AI settings that we're not going to look at. They are simply telling where the AI should cast a spell, too close or far from the enemy, how close or far from the enemy. Some logic about whether we can cast it on water or not. That's okay. It's not too important. We could set if we want to use the rank bonuses of our other effects and spells if they target our unit. But the most important thing here is the summoned unit. In this case, it uses a special type of category that it's actually this one. We'll be looking in a sec. You can set for which side of the battle you want the unit to be, yours or the enemy. You can also set if you want the unit to just last for some seconds or for the whole combat. So value below 0 would mean that it doesn't disappear during combat, and above 0 it lasts whatever you put inside here. Then also if you want to be affected by enchantments, how many action points you want the unit to spawn with. which properties you want the unit to spawn with. This is very useful because here we can directly um, enchant our unit or give it some special effects right from the get-go whenever it's summoned. Then we have some other requisites. If true, then the combat summon requisite will be added to the unit after it's summoned. So you can also add some special type of requisites whenever it's summoned. You can make it so that it's a type of racial summon. We haven't seen much of those. Could be fun to do something along with that. Then there's some special effects that you can set whenever whenever the units themselves are summoned. So you can make so that whenever they are summoned, they make some special different effects. And you can even set to use corpses here. Very interesting. If we look at here, it says if true, then the effect will only work on a hex with a corpse on it. We could use this. What does it say? The corpse will be destroyed when the effect fires. You can even put some filters in respect to the corpse. Let's see what there is here. So you can even say, hey, this only works on Fey corpses, or this only works on naval corpses. Okay. Even you can filter for tiers or specific types of units. So this is really powerful indeed. And you can even say that the casting of the spell will kill one of the caster units. Interesting. Okay. And as we were saying, this summon effect is using a special type of category property. That is this one. This is an Age of Wonders unique category. They are kind of special in the sense that they use sets of names of units, and if you go here, you can't select the units. There's not a list of them. Instead, they use this a string of text, and you're going to say, oh, where I can grab those string of text. And if we go to the, or maybe I have it in recent files, maybe. Not really. Okay, let's look for it instead. If we go to wildlife units, units wildlife, they should be here in unit sets. They are aptly named unit sets. And these unit sets basically are assigned a specific unit. This one is the one where you actually pick the unit. And these units, by the way, let me show you in a sec. These units are inside also on the units wildlife, but in their own unit definitions. So a unit definition, if you remember, it's the actual unit. It's what where you said. Well, we didn't explain this, but it's where you set the tier, the cost, strengths, and all sorts of stuff. Their type, and then we saw that you can assign a structure property. That's what we used in the previous video. So that you force the user to have a specific structure property for the unit to be available. And these Age of Wonders unit types are what the unit sets are referring to. And these sets have a set name. And the set name is what the unit category are referring to. So yeah, a little bit of there are some steps involved here, but it's not too complicated. And as you can see, they are using Floral Singer. Let's try to look for it, just to be properly. Okay, I don't think we are going to find it here because this is in general, but Flora is not here. Instead, I believe it will be in units. And indeed, it's on units. And they have said the same. This is where most wildlife is, but some units, Tome units, are in their Tome themselves. And as you can see, they have created a type Age of Wonders unit where they've set how the floral singer will be. And they have also provided a unit set so that they can grab this unit. The unit set in this case only gives floral singer. But if you wanted, you could create a unit set with different types of units that is used a lot, for example, in the summon beasts. And then you could just refer the set name in the summon in the unit category here in the set. You simply copy paste the text and you will be using that set. It is cap sensitive, so you have to be a bit careful. But aside from that, there's no secret. You just copy the names of the sets you want to use, and then it will mostly will try to assign the same possibility or chance to spawn for each element in the set. So if you put here floral singer, but also put I don't know, butcher ogre here, it will assign a 50% chance here and a 50% chance to the ogre. If you put three things, it will split it evenly again in three thirds. And you can also put like three floral singers and one ogre, and therefore it will have a 75% of stinger and only 25% of ogre. Okay, I think we have explained how flora or summon spells, sorry, are set up more or less. And as that was very interesting, the fact that it can use a corpse, but maybe we can do something a little bit different, or I believe there's a possibility of doing something different, because as I was looking for summon spells that use corpses, I saw that Tome of Necromancer here in the tactical spells, there's a raise zombie spell. It's a special operation combat. This is the same as the other. In this case, it uses circle targeter instead of a single targeter, but this is irrelevant. This is just how big the area is. We could use a single one. But the interesting thing is that it's using this logic, this effect, the resurrect and transform unit, which is just right below. And it's a special magic. It's a tactical position effect that resurrects and transforms a unit. So I guess there's a different way to go about it, that we could simply use this, because it already is forcing us to use a corpse. It's forcing us to use a corpse. It will consume it. And you can simply set here the unit category we've just seen, where we put our unit set. And yeah, that's basically it. As I see here, they have also said that the corpses can't be from zombies, so that you can't use zombies to spawn zombies ad eternum and do some shenanigans, but that we could simply erase that. Yeah, I feel this is a little bit easier. It just only has 4 elements. We could try that and see if it works or not, and how it plays out whenever maybe there's a corpse, but there's something on top of it. We will have to analyze what happens in those specific instances. But this should work fine. So yeah, let's go and grab and use this one. I want to see what happens when we use this resurrect and transform unit. It's very fun. In game design, as long as the player gets to see what you want them to see, it doesn't really matter what we use behind the scenes. And if it works for us and it's simple enough, then we should try to, well, we simply can use that. As we can see, we don't have yet specific page for our tactical spells, so we're going to create one, Tome of Hunger, and then tactical spells. And here is the important part that, as I said the last day, the last video, let's put skill to tactical summons. Well, at least skill 2, so we know what we're talking about, because it will be useful for linking things up. And then let's paste. And the first thing I do, well, first I will save. Then I will rename. And instead of raise zombie, it will be scent of flesh, and replace all. There we go. And then we will look at the store tags in a sec, but first we will change everything up. We will link everything up, make sure the logic is done correctly, and then we will go back here and I will explain what the tags are for and how useful they are. So first of all, here we select a sequencer, an effect. This is a chaos spell, so maybe let's start with Tome of Chaos instead and choose something that is tactical spell. They are usually referred to TS instead of SS, which is stands for strategic spell, I guess. And explode unit could be fun. Let's go with that. Why not? I don't know why it's in chaos, but it's fun. Let's go with that. Maybe it's cool looking. We could do some custom ones, but I won't do that, at least for now. Let's focus on the simple stuff first. Then we will use the skill 2 in this case, scent of flesh, just like in the game. Skill 2 description. This is exactly the same as the one in the skills here. We set it here, but we also have to set it here because they use their own interface. And the only problem is when we get to define some stuff here, which we'll look after we've set everything up. You have to do it twice, but it's the only issue. Aside from that, it's the same. It's a tactical spell summon. That's correct. The skill, as I've told you before, we're going to use the one under skills page. So hunger skills, and then skill 2 mod. Okay, corpse instructions. Sure, we'll be using corpses, so that may actually be the specific instructions we're going to need, so the user knows what to do. Instead of a circle targeter, we're going to change that. In fact, we're simply going to remove this. Yeah, let's do that. And instead, we're going to use this single targeter from fertility. Why not? It should work. Okay, rename this. You can rename also here. Scent of flesh, because we don't want to target a circle, but only a single one. That's fine. And here, instead of animate flora, the effect will be the resurrect one. Resurrect. It has type probably. Resurrect. I don't know if it's like that or with 2 R's. Resurrect. I don't know. Anyway, as we were saying, here we're going to use the targeter, the single targeter, scent flesh. Okay. Unique targets. We are simply using for now one target, so we'll leave that to false. This is all fine for now. The skill that is going to unlock this spell is the skill 2 mod, our own skill mod. This won't be a shadow affinity, but a chaos affinity content. The rest is correct. This is correct. This we won't touch. We won't be using souls. There's a special cost for souls. Instead, we're going to search for tactical tier 2 and nothing appears. There we go, tier 2. Tactical operation. That should be it. We could just make sure by looking at this other one. And indeed it's using the same one, so that's fine. What else? Everything here is done. Let's switch to the magical targeter. The magical targeter, as we've said, it will be using the scent of flesh resurrect. One must be effective. That's okay. If at least one has to be effective. Allow obstacles. Sure, corpse is an obstacle, so I believe so. And then, yeah, all of this is fine. Then let's look at the resurrect itself. See, here resurrect is correctly written. Okay. We will be changing this in a sec. And then hit points to restore. What is this? Okay, so this transform effect, what it's doing is essentially it's using a corpse, and a corpse, I guess it has 0 life, 0% of life, and it restores it to full. We could tweak this to make our carrion bird a little bit weaker. We will see that depending on if it's too strong or not, depending on feedback. But let's leave it to 1. Let's switch this to false because we want, instead of temporary hit points, we want actual proper hit points instead of temporary. This allows us to target all corpses or only our corpses. And of course, if it targets all, it has to make it so that they become our units or not. Let's leave it to that to convert it. Apparently, you can even target units eaten. Let's not mess around with that for now. Let's remove this logic because we don't care if the corpse is from a zombie. Carrion birds don't care about them. The idea here is that the corpse is attracting this bird, and the bird comes and eats the corpse and is happy and then fights for us or something like that. And everything here is okay. We will be giving a requisite. Here we could wait. No, here is just if we want it to be a specific type. Can we give it some properties from here? Because if not, then maybe I think it's here. Not that I think about. I don't see it. So maybe by using this effect, we won't be able to give a special effect, a special status effect to our bird. But you know what? Let's finish setting things up. Let's test it, and then we will have seen this, and we will switch back to the other type of targeting instead, because I do want to use that to give it a special effect. But at least we'll have seen how I operate whenever I'm working with a type of effect that I haven't seen. Let's use the Santa Flash category. We will simply be erasing this one and substituting this one. So the other things we've set will be stay the same. This is good. In this sense, it's a bit quite modular, and we can switch and disconnect these, but connect another things, and so on and so forth. This correct, I guess. I still think that maybe we could do it here, but I'm not sure. What exactly are these requisites? Let me look about. Okay. No, I don't think so. Yeah, let's not waste any more time here. Okay, now let's grab a set that we actually care about. We're going to use a carrion bird. Carrion birds are in the unit wildlife, and there's a chance that there's no set for it. Maybe some units don't have one. But this may. Here I'm seeing in great birds, I'm seeing the crow, the phoenix, and the thunderbird. I'm not seeing the carrion bird one, but that's fine. Oh no, it's this one. It's just that it's called green brick crow tier 2. That's okay, as it's fine. Let's use this. As we know, it does use a carrion bird unit. I've copied the name just to be sure, and I'm inputting here, and I'm going to save, and this should work. So let's test it, okay? This should work, so let's test it. We're going to quickly kill a unit of the enemy, and then try to cast a spell on top of the corpse, and see if it indeed uses summons the carrion bird. We could resume from the last one, I guess. It will say it's angry at us because it's from a different mod version. It will have a different ID, so it will say, hey, you're trying to load a save file with a different ID, and so on and so forth. Are you sure? And I'm going to tell yes, because I don't care. Actually, we don't have the spell research here, so I wonder if we can unlock them. We can't. So in this case, we're going to load the game start. And by the way, if you do some changes to the mod, in theory, this playthrough, we already had unlocked the Tome. The other researches, yeah, they are here, okay? So they have updated. Even though originally we started this game with only one skill, now they are also appearing here. We don't have much money. I see that we don't have the cheats enabled, so I'm going to do that in a sec. And I'm also going to save here, a quick save, so that whenever we load again this at this position, we already have the cheats enabled. And then let's quickly grab the skill that we want. In this case, it's not any of these ones, it's Santa Flash. Now we do have the Santa Flash. Let's make sure it appears. It does appear under tactical spells. It has the cost that we set it to be, a tier 1 cost. It has a text that I already prepared. There's something missing. We're going to see that in this video, I guess. It has the correct marking here. We could let's go and fight. We don't need the ogres for this. We don't need the ogres. And let's try to kill one of their units real quick. back. Let's make it so the AI does it for us. Hold this for a sec. The AI likes to usually target one specific unit. Maybe it will be one of us that dies. Let's stop right here because we already have a unit, a corpse. Here lies the plane. Okay, there's a corpse here. Let's try it. Let's try it. As we can see, it already appears here in green. The targeter tells us there's a corpse here. This is okay. This is intended for us. It's suspected behavior. And let's try. Let's say. Alright, and for some reason it summoned a zombie. That's fine. Let's see why. Let's quickly exit the game. Okay, we know it does work, at least the targeter. The only problem is that we've seen that it's not spawning the unit we want it to be. But that's fine. That's probably because we simply didn't link correctly the different elements. Let's see if it is indeed not properly linked. This center flash is using the targeter. Okay, that's fine. This targeter is using the resurrected transform unit. That's fine. The resurrected and transform unit, it's working because we've seen how corpses are consumed. And finally, we have Tome Hunger Scent of Flesh in here. It should be using the Scent of Flesh unit category. But even if it's here as a carrion bird, it's still summoning corpses. Interesting. Why is that? Let me pause this for a second and now we'll look into it. Alright, I've returned from the dead and I've simply changed this category name. This is something weird with especially this kind of categories. For some reason, the game must store these categories and keep it in mind, because if you use one category which already exists and then adds a set to it, it's like it couples them together and makes a bigger set. So we also need to change this category name for it to work. And as you can see, if we quickly go into the game, now it should actually spawn the correct one. Yeah, this is a special kind of behavior that other stuff doesn't really have, because usually these names or tags don't really affect things that much. They are mostly for the text and not for actual in-game behavior. And let's stop right there, and then let's. And as you can see, we've summoned some carrion birds. They have regular health instead of temporary one. And they don't have any special effects because we haven't set such effects. However, we are not going to use this method because, as we saw, there's not actually a way, or at least I don't see it, a way to buff them, because these requisites are not exactly what I'm looking for. So we're going to destroy this. It's fine. This is going to complain. We're going to insert some rows because maybe we're going to need them. And instead, we're going to do a little bit of a different thing. We're going to use the regular summon effect. And let's try to use the settings for the summons effects. going to erase this. We didn't need it in the end, apparently. Let's set this thing up. We're going to leave everything here the same, except that it will obviously use the scent of less category. As you can see, we're reusing this that we were using previously. That's a good cool thing about this, is that you can cut and paste some little parts and make your little Frankenstein. Scent of flesh. Okay, we have relinked stuff. Let's check if the logic is correct. Summon on the side of caster, that's okay. Units to leave -1. We want it to be to don't disappear. Okay. This is true. Okay. Summon property. Here is where we are going to give it a special property. This is where the other type of summon magic was lacking. This ability to give it a specific property. Let's leave it to that for now. Add summon requisite. Sure. Yeah, this is only to assign it as a combat, so that combat summons can be targeted. Let's leave it like that. Let's leave it like that. And here in the summoning conditions, let's say, yeah, as the text says, it says that if true, the effect only works on hexes with corpses, and the corpse is destroyed. So let's set it to true and see if it's actually, if this works. We want any filter. We want to target all corpses, at least for now. Maybe we'll change that later for flavor purposes. And we don't want to sacrifice any unit. So yeah, just with that change, let's see if it actually still works. And yeah, let's go to the game. Let's check. The issue with the unit set should not persist, because we changed that. We were summoning correctly the carrion bird, so I'm expecting it to also summon correctly the carrion bird, and we're going to say yes. And we're going to stop the combat once a unit dies. Come on, AI, I know you can do it. Yeah, okay. There we go, good job. And then, interestingly, yeah, this is the cool thing about summon spells, is that, as you can see, once we've linked the magic summon spell type, it actually overrides the settings we used for the little icon. So it behaves in the same way as units do, and as strategic spells do, apparently. So for tactical spells, the summons work the same, and they change how they are displayed. Ooh, that's really cool. And the corpse explosion really adds to the immersion. Some fleshy bits flying around, and indeed there's a carrion bird there, and apparently there's not a chaplain there lying dead. So everything is performing correctly. We tried to go it by a different way. Didn't work. That's fine. It's part of the process. That's how things work. We now know that it's a good alternative, just that it doesn't really allow us to add more properties. But that's fine. I see already that this took quite longer than expected. So I'm not sure we're going to have enough time to add new effects, but let's instead talk about these data store tags, okay? So these tags are very important. If you want to use data from here, from the spells, from the types, this data, if you want to use it, you're going to set a stack attack here, and then here the data that you can use will appear. These little text tags are what you're going to use in the localization files to reference it, and it will substitute these tags for these values. So for now, let's change this to scent of flesh. By the way, you can write in lower cap here, and it will automatically put everything into caps. Okay, that's that to scent of flesh. We're going to say scent of flesh targeter, and then scent of flesh summon, and then Karen Bird category, we're going to leave it like that. But now if for some reason we wanted to, in this case it won't be necessary, but if we wanted to say reference how many turns this unit is going to live, we can put this into the text, and whenever we change the values here in minus, where was it, in the summon effect, I guess, yeah, whenever we change the values here, it will automatically update there, and indeed it does. So we don't have to care about updating our text, our localization files, because this is managed by these tags. And for that, yeah, with that I think it's okay. We'll actually look into the text itself with the PO edit. So for now, just make sure that you have this PO edit. Go to poedit.net and download PO edit, because we're going to modify the text probably in the next video. Once we start doing the status effect. So yeah, that should be about it for now. We actually have a working spell. It even overrides our little icon. That's fine. It wasn't such a beautiful icon anyway. But if we just go there, yeah, let's leave it at, let's finish this video at the Tome skill. I really like the Tome previews. Let's leave it there. And as I was saying, it actually replaces our little icon with the automatically generated units. In this case, because as the same as was the case with the ogre, since it's a unit that already exists, it already has the little icon with the background set. But if this weren't the case, we would have to actually do a custom one. But yeah, that's it. As you can say, it doesn't appear the hunger stacks. We will be looking this in the next video, because I want the text to say consumes target corpse and summons. Here we don't have Karen. Yeah, I'm going to also show this the next episode, and then with X stacks of hunger stacks. So we will fix this little text. And yeah, maybe do, and yeah, we will do the hunger effect, and that will be probably be it, because it will take a little bit. But yeah, thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.